Dear JS Audio Radio listeners, this is 6th episode of Dr.Mrs.S.Muthulakshmi Reddy. The recap of the previous episode, that is 5th episode. You may think or wonder that why these episodes are too short. My intention is that I must not take much of your time, that is more valuable and precious. The second reason or notion of mine is that I must chickle like a statue, more attractive, attentionful. The news background is there in the Cancer Institute, Adyar, Chennai. Let us go step by step. Dr. Mrs.S.Muthulakshmi Reddy was still in the midst of discussions and consultations with her elders and friends when an event happened that took the decision entirely out of her hands. 6th episode starts here. The people who were happiest and who most welcomed the abolition of the Devadasi system were the Devadasas themselves. The pernicious Hindu religious custom, which compelled to dedication of women belonging to a particular caste to the Hindu temples and thus to a life of virtual prostitution and shame, was greatly resented by the men and women of that community. The Devadasi Act, enacted by Dr. Mrs.S.Muthulakshmi Reddy, was to these ill-starred slaves of Hindu slavery. The young girls of that community broke out of the fold immediately, and within a month of the passing of the act came to Madras seeking their mother and liberator, Dr. Mrs.S.Muthulakshmi Reddy, and through her a new life. These girls were innocent and unspoiled, and desired education and livelihood like other girls. In 1930, the shelter for Hindu girls were 2 hostels in Madras city, the Ice House for Brahmin girls and non-Brahmin hostel in Big Street, Triplicane, for non-Brahmin girls. When the first batch of 7 girls from the Devadasi community arrived at Dr. Mrs.S.Muthulakshmi Reddy's house, she naturally directed them to the correspondent of these hostels with a letter. Dr. Mrs. Reddy was then the medical officer of both these hostels, but when the girls presented themselves before the correspondent, they abused his fruits of corruption and driven out incontinently. The girls returned to Dr. Mrs.S.Muthulakshmi Reddy weeping and related their woeful girls. That night the Adyar home was established in Dr. Mrs.S.Muthulakshmi's house. Her sister Mrs. Nallamuthu Ramamurthy was its first warden. Begun under such circumstances of stress and revolt against an unjust and selfish society in 1930, the Adyar home has grown from strength to strength, housing 350 children, many helpless adult women, an industrial school, a basic teachers training school and a high school. Thousands of discarded women and children have walked out of the Adyar home as nurses, doctors and teachers. In addition to founding Adyar home, Dr. Mrs.Muthulakshmi Reddy organized the first Vigilance Association in Madras, established the first rescue home for women which later became the Sri Sadhana, and was for long the secretary and the life behind the Children Aid Society, a home for delinquent children. To be continued in next episode. Regards Editor S. Ram Ishwarlal, the 25th of November 2021.